Hey guys, Jen Ferguson here with Artistic Painting Studio, and today I'm going to take you through a super fun project on creating a door hanger. Hey guys, I'm super excited to do this project with you. And I'm actually just starting with a round that I found at Walmart. Okay, so it started off as just raw wood. It already had the hanger on here, the rope, but I'm just going to leave that. I put down one layer of an acrylic base coat to give us a base, okay, because this new foil, as you can see, is going to look gorgeous over a white background. So our first layer is going to be grabbing some of our wonderful Artsyville Embellishments foil adhesive. And we're just going to open this container. And I'm using a foam brush, which is probably not my favorite, you guys, but I've got a bigger surface that I'm working on, and it's just going to cover quicker. But make sure, if you are using a foam brush, that you are being generous with the material. Sometimes the foam brush just tends to put it on super thin. So make sure that you're being a little bit more generous than usual. Okay, I usually use an art brush or I do a low nap roller. But we're just going to make the foam brush work today, and I'm just going to make sure that I am putting plenty of product on. So I know it's really hard to tell at the moment, but the foil adhesive does go on looking milky white. Over a white base, you really can't tell. But it normally will go from milky white to going crystal clear, and it will be shiny, okay? So when it dries, we'll have a clear, shiny finish that'll be ready for our foil transfer. Okay, getting this last little section here is going to be tricky. There's really nothing left to hold on to, but we'll get it. Okay, so it will dry out in approximately 20-30 minutes, okay? But even though it tends to dry and clear out fast, definitely make sure to give it some really good dry time, okay? I'm going to let this sit for a couple of hours, because the longer you let the adhesive sit, the more time it has to get to a hard, firm tack, which is going to produce your best foil release. So we'll be back when this is ready. Okay, I have allowed this to sit and dry, and our foil adhesive is a nice firm tack, which is wonderful to go forward. I'm going to put our round aside for a second, and I'm going to show you our gorgeous new foil that is called Hadleigh. And this one is pretty. It's like a vintage floral, okay? And this is showing you guys over the paper that I have on the table, because I got a sticky surface. And just to show you over white, it's going to come out a little bit brighter. Whatever base color you put your transparent foils over can alter the look of the pattern, okay? Not so much the pattern, but the color. So if you want to keep your foils at their whitest or brightest, normally under a transparent foil, white or an off-white is going to keep everything as vibrant. If you go over like this color underneath, which is kind of a rose color, it's going to probably make things look just a little bit darker. Okay, so I'm going to do what I call a reverse roll. And I am just going to roll the foil up with the transfer side exposed. Okay, so I'm putting the carrier side on the inside, because this helps to position things, okay? So now I can lay my foil, and I think my round is going to be really close to the size and width of the foil. So I got that right on the edge, and this is going to allow you to kind of unroll things and get them in position, and so you can smooth everything out. And now you can see how much more white the flowers came out and how vibrant the pinks became going over that white background. So we want to go ahead and scrub to release the foil from the carrier sheet. So I'm just using a plastic bristled brush, and I am giving a pretty good scrub, okay? And this foil is absolutely gorgeous. It has a very cool vintage look. The other thing with transparent foils is you want to give an extra little scrubbing right around that edge, that outside edge, because they can do what I call over release. And I'll always tend to not only just do a little extra scrubbing on that outside edge, but when you do go to release the foil, you want to be pulling in. Okay, so I'm just going to peek. I'm going to see how our release looks. And if there feels like there's some more of the design that I could possibly get transferred, I'm just going to go ahead and lay the foil back down and do a little bit more scrubbing over that area and continue that process. Now, I do recommend pulling inwards, okay, towards the middle of the project instead of pulling away, because when you pull away, that's when you could possibly get what we call the over release. So again, laying it back down, scrub again, and then I'm just going to turn it around because it's going to be easier to pull towards me. Peek underneath, okay, and then if you lay it right back, it's going to fall right into place. So if there was something that didn't transfer perfect, it should be right where the little pieces that didn't transfer the first time should fall right back into place, okay? So we've got one more section here. And we're just going to do a little bit more scrubbing there as well. And, oops, I feel like we can get a little bit better there. Now, if you're scrubbing really well and it's still not transferring, that could mean that you just didn't get the foil adhesive on that area. Okay, so here I'm getting a little bit of over release, okay, where a little extra came off. I'll show you how to also get rid of that if you end up with it. So you can see my carrier sheet here is almost completely clear. That is a fabulous release on that particular foil. Okay, so what I'll do is grab a tiny little piece of tape, normally just grab it, and then if I have any over release like on the edges, a little piece of tape normally just pulls that off. Okay, so if you had a little bit of anything that got on the edge, just use a piece of tape to get that off. Okay, so once we have transferred, we can go forward with our project. We don't have to wait any longer. Okay, this is one of the older labels, but this is the Golden Paintworks cracking size. Okay, so we're going to do a crackle finish over this. I figured with as gorgeous as it was, looking like a vintage style floral, that a crackle finish would be beautiful. So I am just going to go ahead and paint over a layer of the cracking size. You want to make sure you have full coverage. This completely enhances the crackle medium and allows for you to get nice cracks, islands with the crackle product itself, okay? So you just need one layer. It doesn't have to be thick, but make sure you do get full coverage. And then this product should sit for about 2 to 4 hours, okay? Company recommends 4. I've always kind of speeded it up a little bit and normally would just wait a couple hours. So we're going to wait for that to dry, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to put our Crystal Clear Crackle over the top and do a very gorgeous vintage look. Okay guys, I have allowed the cracking size to dry for a couple hours. It has a really, really low tack to it, okay? And then the next step is going to be our Crystal Clear Crackle. This stuff is so cool. Again, it's crystal clear, so you're able to crack over anything and still see right through it. Okay, this stuff looks a little bit different than most other products, okay? So it's thick, has a transparency to it, but you're just going to go ahead and brush this on to the surface, okay? Now, the heavier and thicker you get it somewhere, the bigger the cracks and islands will be. If you keep it thin, you're going to have real fine cracks, but I'll tell you, normally the edges, you don't always tend to get it on too heavy, so the sides normally get a little bit smaller cracks, but I like to kind of vary my application and have some areas maybe that are a little thicker, some that are a little thinner, and that way I've got areas that might be really tiny, like China Crackle, up to some big islands, okay? So it's fun to play with this product, experiment, maybe even just do a sample board of applying it at different thicknesses so you can kind of get an idea of what you personally like. Now, the product can tend to sag a little bit, so it's best to always use it in a flat surface as I'm doing right now. It doesn't hang very well, meaning if you were trying to do it like on a piece of furniture and you were leaving the dresser upright and trying to do the side, you might have to babysit it a little bit, because the thicker you have it on, the more that it's going to want to possibly sag. So if I am doing a piece of furniture like that, I normally will go ahead and just lay it down where I can work on each side flat as I'm doing right now. Okay, so this stuff does not dry really fast. And unlike most crackles, you see that I have back brushed, I have played in the areas that I've already worked on, and I can't ruin it, okay? It will take probably about 30 minutes or so before we'll start to see any cracking, but it does take time. It's not an immediate reaction like most paint crackles are. So be patient. Just leave it someplace where it's flat and can just dry on its own. Don't try to speed it up with a blow dryer. And if you're super patient, you can just sit there and maybe watch it crack. So we'll be back when this has the crackle started, and then we'll talk about what you can possibly do next or leave it as it is. Hey guys, our Crystal Clear Crackle has completely dried, and I will definitely do a close-up video for you. But I love how it's just, you can notice it from how the light reflects on it. So I'm going to leave it as is, but there are options, okay? If you decide you want to enhance the cracking even more, you can take a little bit of glaze with like an umber colorant and just wipe it over, and the glaze will sit back into the recessed areas. You could even try using a white wax or a black wax or even an umber wax. So many ways to go ahead and continue to enhance the cracking if you want, or just leave it as a very subtle understatement. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. You will find a complete list of all materials and supplies in the description below. And make sure, hit that subscribe button, guys, so that you won't miss any of our upcoming tutorials.